Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. We're going to start this morning with our water vapor satellite picture, which is provided by National Weather Service. And what we have overlaid is the surface boundary, the cold front that is hanging just to the north of the New York City metropolitan area, and that boundary extends all the way back into the Central Plains. Now, as you can clearly see, we have a very powerful and dynamic area low pressure setting up over Kansas that will slowly lift north and east towards the central Great Lakes. The majority of the dynamics with this storm will remain well to the west of the northern mid-Atlantic. For today, you can see there's a ton of dry air just sinking right over the northern mid-Atlantic and up and down the east coast. And the reason why is because there has to be a balance to all the lifting that is developing over parts of the Mississippi River Valley, Tennessee River Valley, and Ohio River Valley. So as a counterbalance, as a result, skies clear out and the potential for any showers or thunderstorms is really limited for today and for tomorrow over the northern mid-Atlantic. So while I can't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, those showers again will be very isolated and most locations will remain dry and very warm. How warm? Well, let's take a look at the recent satellite picture. This is the recent satellite picture for the visible satellite picture for about 9:30 a.m. And as you can see, surface temperatures throughout the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area range from the upper 60s to the low 70s already. Now, for this afternoon, with the exception of, let's say, Long Island and immediate coastal New Jersey, most locations are going to rise into the lower to mid 80s. However, again, right along the coast, temperatures will most likely range around the upper 70s to lower 80s because of the influence of the Atlantic Ocean. This cold front boundary will start to lift north and will remain to the north and west of the northern mid-Atlantic for this afternoon and for tomorrow afternoon as well. So really, this boundary is not going to be able to produce much in the way of any precipitation because it's weakening. It has little to no support at the upper levels. And again, that sinking air at 500 millibars down to the surface will prevent any development of strong thunderstorms. Again, I can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm, but for the most part, most locations will remain high and dry and very sunny this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon. So what about the rest of this week and looking at the Memorial Day weekend? Well, this is the European model guidance from the Penn State EWOL website. And this is 500 millibars. And what I have overlaid here is what I'm expecting to be the storm track from basically tomorrow afternoon all the way through Sunday, which basically shows that areas of low pressure will develop over the southern plains and move towards the eastern and central Great Lakes that will remain well north and west of the northern mid-Atlantic. Now, as these low pressure systems track into western New York, a few showers and thunderstorms will be able to encroach into the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area in the afternoon, especially Friday afternoon. But for the most part, high pressure will be in control. Now, this high pressure system will be setting up off the East Coast, which means that air masses along the Gulf Coast and over the Gulf of Mexico will be able to move up through the southeast into the northern mid-Atlantic for the rest of this week and into the weekend. And that means high temperatures in the 80s for most locations, with the exception of the immediate coast, and also high humidity. We're looking at lows in the 60s, and we're not talking around 60. We're talking about 60 to 70 degrees for lows. And dew points are also going to be in the mid-60s for many afternoons, and that means that humidity is going to be very high. So we're definitely looking at a rather warm to hot weekend on the way with humid conditions. Perfect conditions to go down to the shore and enjoy the boardwalk or the beach. Next week, the summer pattern really starts to kick in. High pressure will be in control throughout the entire eastern United States. The storm track, which starts off around the west coast, is going to be forced into Canada, which means no cold fronts and very limited potential for rainfall. Now again, when the weather pattern gets very hot and humid, I can't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon due to some instability and some rogue mid-level disturbances. but most locations will remain high and dry Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Unfortunately, with that also comes the high humidity and high temperatures. Most locations will range from the lower to mid 80s along the coast, including New York City. However, the Philadelphia metropolitan area, and especially much of the Delaware River Valley, will likely see highs in the upper 80s to lower 90s. So hopefully you have your air conditioning all set up for the summer. Also, dew points will remain high, with dew points ranging from 60 to 66, which will support a very humid air mass in place. So if you're not prepared for the hot and humid conditions already, get ready because they're coming. And it looks like this pattern is not going to be breaking down very quickly all that time soon. So if you're not prepared for the hot and humid conditions, get ready for them because it's on the way. As for the rest of the pattern going forward after this ridge starts to break down, the really only hope that we see for a break in the warm and humid conditions is a potential of a disturbance over Ontario late on Wednesday that will try to drop down through New England, and we could see a backdoor cold front. But at this point, I have my doubts that this will actually occur. So it looks like we're setting up for a hot and humid pattern just in time for the holiday weekend. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA weather. Stay safe out there.